Cool, just gonna move on to the chainring then. So I'll just get rid of everything, so just hide everything. I'm just gonna start making a few circle splines, just as a reference again. And we'll just clone that one for the inner ring. So I'll start with a cylinder. Counted round before as roughly a 44 ringed piece, so I'll just start with a 44 sided cylinder. So we'll start with a plane, so we're just using the cylinder as a reference to where the symmetry points are going to be. So we'll just cut that in half and use the symmetry. So we'll just start roughing out the tooth shape. So we're just going to rotate that symmetry around there. That gives us our second point. And it basically gives us a middle point where you can join it together and know what it's going to look like. Just create a nice smooth curve between the teeth there. And we'll just add the shell just to see what it looks like. So we'll just collapse that shell to poly, and I can bring this in. It's basically the end of the teeth come to a bit of a sharper point, and there's a little crease in the middle. So just create a middle point there so we can add a new symmetry. We just add in some edge loops to get our hard edges. Essentially we're only doing kind of like a less than a, well, like a quarter of a tooth. Yeah, when we clone it around, then we get a full entire chain ring. Just kind of contemplating what step to do next. So we're just going to align our mirror to the middle. That's basically one full segment. We basically want half of that. So just go into our new mirrors again, Control N for the calculator thing, and then we'll just half that value that we got. And that should give us the correct rotation to rotate it around. It's basically just creating a symmetrical piece. And align the pivot to the middle. And now we can copy it around however many times we need. That's probably be 43. Probably 42 actually in the end. Just use the C manager to select all those, and then we'll use a script to attach them all together. Obviously make sure everything's welded. Obviously added in some more edges, so we now have an 88 sided. So we're just going to use this to bridge it in. Just take the cap segments down because we don't actually need them now. Just delete everything else, make sure the front place is plain out the rest of it. Just do a little inset in. And we'll just attach that to the main shape. And we can just bridge the edges. And get rid of the non-circular edge. Just sort out our pivot points so we can add a symmetry. We don't actually have an edge loop in the middle at the moment. It looks like we forgot to extend the edge loops on the end of the teeth as well. So we're just going to have to get rid of everything and just add in the loops there and then re-copy them around. Just adjust the weld threshold there so it doesn't weld the innervets. So just do the 43 copies and then join them all together. Just readjust the pivot point again. I could just paste our symmetry back on. And let's take a look what it looks like. Just looking all good. Just make sure everything's welded up. So just do a little preparation for the inner part of the chainring. So I'll probably remove that edge in a second anyway. This will be easier to create the center detail. We'll just spin that round so we have a straight edge in the middle. So we'll just create a few circle splines as just reference while we're going to before we make the inner parts. And we're going to make a cylinder as a reference again. Basically, best part's to count how many points of symmetry each your part has got. For this, it's got 10 points of symmetry. So we'll just make a 10-sided, and then we can use that section to create the details. Then we'll know it will actually fit together once we clone it around. So it's 36 the angle, so just do half that, just so we get a straight edge down the middle. That's basically the section that we have to build our part in, and then we know it all symmetry around perfectly. So we'll just start with a plane and just create this little section separately. Just delete one half, and then we use the symmetry again. going to bring it out the front so you can see it and select it a bit easier. Just bear in mind the symmetry line on the reference isn't the same as the one we're using, so we've got to kind of do it a bit by eye, kind of overlap it on the left and do it a bit short on the right side. So we're just trying to create the inner shape here. We'll just extrude some edges out and just fix up the symmetry line. Yeah, just delete the middle because we don't need it anymore. So that's basically our edge loop for the piece we want. Just align that to the middle so we can copy it around. Just make this a little bit more even. Basically just use this plane just to create all the edges we need for the detail. Kind of a rounded trapezium shape that we're making. Just cut in our edge loop. It's coming together. And we'll just bridge and finish up this section. Now we just need to make sure that it's actually going to fit with our original shape. So I'm just going to extrude some edges down and add in some extra ones to make sure it will connect. Just counting however many edges I need, and let's drag them up. Gonna lift this edge a bit away from the bottom, so it's a bit easier to select and bridge together. That's pretty much the shape down, so we just need to sort out the topology. So don't really need these edges for anything, so I'm just going to loop them back on himself. I'm just going to add a few more edges instead of looping them back. Just add for a bit more edge consistency. Cool, yeah, so that's pretty much our shape sorted. And we basically just get on with cloning it around. See, one of the sections will be overlapping, so we'll just delete the middle there, which separates a piece, and just use element select to delete it. And then we'll just get on with welding these all together, getting them all attached. Basically we have 90 edges, but we need 88. Do that in a second. We just need to make sure these are all welded up properly. So this edge wouldn't weld, so when that happens, usually just delete the poly and then just remake it. And just double check with the border once you're done. So yeah, we got 90 edges, we need 88. So we'll just go around and pick a couple of edges to delete. So these middle ones aren't really affecting the shape at all, so we can kind of safely get away with them. And then we'll roughly just do one on either side. Now we got a perfect amount of edges to bridge without any problems. So just doing a quick X-form reset on both these. And just weld them together. There's a bit of skewing, because basically they're not together. And the minimum and maximum wasn't playing nice, so I'll just detach this piece and do it separately. Yeah, just make sure it's flush with the outer face, which it now is, so you can attach it back to the original shape, and then give the bridging a go again. Just going to try and line the edges up a little bit better. So there's still some skewing on the edges, which there shouldn't be. So there must be a problem with the mesh at some point. So I'm just going to have to give it a once over and look around to see what's wrong with it. This is showing 92 edges on the outer one, which it shouldn't do. And there's the culprit, there's the open edge down here. And the vertices don't appear to be welding either. So yeah, I've got a few of them welded, so just keep on trying to get it all sorted. So just do a mass weld, which got rid of a few of them. Just double check we aren't welding up the ends. So again, the easiest way, because it's not welding, so we'll just get rid of the face and re-border it, re-bridge it even. So yeah, now the vertices weld, so then we can bridge it and there shouldn't be any problems. So now we have our 88 edges, which is what we want. So now I just to make sure the bridge works properly, do the border, deselect the ends, and then just bridge it. Then we'll just get rid of the wobbly edge. And we just need to make sure the center is circular as well. So the middle is 40 edges at the moment. So just make a 40-sided cylinder. Make sure it's centered to our piece. And that one of the pieces is flush with the surface. Like so. Just make sure it's in the middle in the other two axes. Just convert to poly, delete everything except the front face. Attach it to the piece and just bridge the edges. Get rid of the wobbly edge. And just delete the middle. And just add in an edge loop. We'll just give the piece some thickness. Basically just align it to the minimum again, and that'll make sure it's aligned to the other symmetry line. Just double check sure the pivot's in the middle and on the outer edge. There we go. And just check over our piece to make sure it's all good. And just forgot an edge loop on the outer bit there. So just get rid of all our references, we don't need them anymore. Just make sure we name our piece. This middle doesn't look like it's quite welded, so just have to sort out. Just adjust the weld threshold just a little bit. And we don't particularly need that center symmetry line, so actually adding a load of extra geometry we don't need. So I'm just going to collapse it to poly and just get rid of the middle line. And remember to do it the same in the holes as well. Just loop and delete those. Just do a final X-form reset and finish with the Turbo Smooth. Give our piece a name. And I'm just going to unhide the tyre and make sure it's centered up to the tyre. Got to make sure the chain actually goes past the tyre, so we just pull it out a little bit. Coolio, that's pretty much our chain ring done. Not sure what we're doing next, but I'll catch you in the next bit anyway.